Alright guys, so this is just a little sewing candy to show you how I do embroidery on a vinyl. So this is a pocket for a whippersnapper, which is one of my patterns. I'll put it in the description if you don't know what I'm talking about. You'll also need a hoop. Now because this is a small piece, I'll be using a small design. So this is my 4x4 hoop. I use tear away stabilizer, so it's cut as actually cut as a leftover from another project, but this is the stabilizer. You're also going to need double-sided tape, a pen, and a ruler. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and work out where I'm going to put the center of the design. So we need to take halfway between 4 inches is 2. There's a little bit of maths. So we need to go at least 2 inches up, plus we need to allow for the seam allowance. So I'm going to go 2 3/4 inches up from the bottom, like this. And then I'm going to rule the line all the way across because it's going to be easier. I'm then going to fold it in half to find my center, which is right here. Make a little snip. And so that's where the center line will be. Instead of snipping it, you could also just actually measure it. So you will notice that the design is not in the center. And the reason for that is because when we put down our press stud, we don't want the flap to cover it. So that's why I've worked it out this way. So now I'm going to take my hoop and I'm going to hoop just the stabilizer. I never hoop my vinyl as it gets marks and dents that are very difficult to get out. Now that should be, you should basically be able to make a drum. It should be loose enough that if you wiggle this, it doesn't just pop out, but it shouldn't be so tight that it cuts through the stabilizer as you put it on. So that's that. Now I'm going to take my ruler and a pen, and in my hoop, I have these little kind of notches. These are the center point. So I'm going to take my ruler, and from center notch to center notch, I'm going to rule a line like this. And so now that actually shows me where the center of the hoop is. So now I just need to stick this to that. So the first thing I'm going to do is put some double-sided tape right at the bottom of my vinyl. Because this is not going to go all the way to the bottom, if I put it there, then it's not going to work. But the second piece, I'm going to put right at the top of this hoop. Now the hoop is obviously bigger than 4x4, and that allows for like a border around the edge. So I will always put my double-sided tape in the border like this, and then I'm just going to pick up the backing and take it off, and then same with this, I'm going to take off the backing. Now all I have to do is match those crosshairs with the crosshairs on my hoop. So I'm going to fold it in half like this so I can see, and I always face it sideways. I don't know why, I just do. So I'm going to take that center point and match it up with the center point on the hoop, and then I'm just going to smooth down that end where the double-sided tape is, and I'm going to make sure that this is following up on the same line, and then push it on that piece of tape. And so now I can pick this up, and it is effectively stuck down. Now, let's go to the machine. So I have loaded my design into the machine already, just to save us a bit of time. So I'm going to install the hoop. I've also threaded the machine. Now, before we go, 2 things. 1, you need to have a ball point needle in your machine. I just get normal ballpoint sewing needles because the ballpoint will help make a bigger hole so the thread goes through without snapping. You can use an embroidery needle, but if you find that it's snapping repeatedly, it means you need to change to the ballpoint needle because of the vinyl. The second thing I'm going to do is go into my settings, and the speed on the embroidery, I want to slow it down to the slowest speed, which for me is 350. If you go too fast through vinyl, it will also break your thread. So you want to slow down, and then we're going to start stitching. You'll also see me clip down the sides of the vinyl so it doesn't get stuck under the machine.